Ok, eh bien, bienvenue à la 5e leçon de français de John Shepherd. Donc, il fait très très beau à Bordeaux ce matin. Il y a du soleil à l'extérieur, on a le ciel bleu, c'est très très sympa par rapport à hier où il y avait un peu de grisaille, il faisait pas très très beau, mais là cette fois-ci on a l'impression qu'il fait un temps un petit peu plus estival. Les orages sont finis, heureusement, parce que ça nous a perturbé pas mal, surtout dans ton travail, comme on en a parlé hier, quand tu m'as raconté tout ce qui s'est passé dans la cave de ton pub, etc. Donc là, on va commencer la 5e leçon. Donc, est-ce que tu peux juste me raconter vite fait ce que tu as fait hier soir, ce que tu as fait hier dans la journée, est-ce que tu as fait des choses intéressantes?
Ouais, donc hier soir, après la dernière leçon, j'ai rentré mon appart. Ma copine était dormir. C'est ça. Et après on a mangé un peu. Qu'est-ce qu'on a mangé? On a mangé un peu de poulet avec un peu de paprika et avec un peu de courgettes avec un peu de fromage dedans aussi.
Des courgettes avec du fromage dedans?
Ouais,
des courgettes farcies en fait, des courgettes farcies de fromage.
Ouais, exactement.
Ouais, avec du fromage, ouais, c'est ça, farci.
Ouais, farci de fromage, ouais. C'est un peu de fromage de chèvre dedans. Donc tu coupes le courgette en deux, et tu mets un peu de fromage dedans.
Et tu enlèves la chair en fait de la courgette.
Ouais, exactement. Tu enlèves la chair.
La chair, tu enlèves la chair et après tu mets un petit peu de fromage à l'intérieur.
C'est ça. Tu mets dans le four.
Dans le four,
ouais. Et ouais, donc après ça, je me suis couché un petit peu parce que tu es un peu fatigué. Et après, je suis allé à la quiz. Au quiz. Qui on a fini dans le 4e position.
En 4e position, et donc, vous n'avez pas remporté, mais vous avez tout de même fait vous avez fait un bel essai, quoi. Vous avez essayé de gagner, mais vous n'avez pas été.
Ouais, exactement.
Vous n'avez pas réussi.
Donc on a fini dans le 4e position.
C'était quoi le thème du quiz en fait?
Le thème c'était Scandinavia.
Ah, la Scandinavie.
Scandinavie, oui.
D'accord, donc des questions sur la Suède,
ouais, exactement.
etc.
Ouais, exactement.
Et tu t'y connais pas forcément en tout ce qui est géographie scandinave, etc.
Ouais, un petit peu, ouais. J'ai répondu de quelques questions. Par exemple, lequel pays a gagné le plus fort mec du monde, Strongest Man World.
Ah, l'homme le plus fort au monde.
Ouais,
l'homme le plus fort au monde, je pense qu'ils appellent ça comme ça.
Le plus fort du monde,
ouais.
8 fois.
Ouais, parce que c'est un concours en fait pour trouver l'homme le plus fort. Bon, ils font des défis, il faut qu'ils soulèvent des gros trucs en fait, il faut qu'ils déplacent des gros morceaux de pierre, etc.
Exactement.
Ils font des bras de fer.
C'est un programme à la télévision. Ouais, donc j'ai répondu à cette question. On a fini dans le 4e position. Et c'était bon. Et après, on est pu rentrer à la maison.
Ok. Très bien. Right. Just a little thing here. Rentrer is one of the verbs with être. So, je suis rentré.
Dr. and Mrs. Van Trump.
If you like, yeah. I never managed to get on with that. I could never understand that. I just sort of learned them as I went along. But je suis rentré is one of the être verbs because it's a verb of motion.
Okay.
So, and t'as pas forcément besoin de dire je suis rentré à l'appartement, je suis allé à l'appartement. Tu dis je suis rentré Chez moi.
Chez moi, d'accord.
Je suis rentré chez moi, c'est
Plus
plus
facile.
C'est plus idiomatique en fait, si tu veux.
Chez moi.
Je suis rentré chez moi. Là, t'as pas besoin de dire à l'appartement, à la maison, etc. Tu peux le dire, c'est pas faux de le dire, mais en fait, la plupart du temps, on a plus tendance à dire je suis rentré chez moi. Ouais, c'est comme ça qu'on dit. Now, slightly different exercise here. Now, sometimes when we want to, do you want a chocolate
I'm fine,
slice?
I'm fine.
This is my breakfast.
Honestly, I've eaten already. Fine.
No. I'm finished eating my chocolate thing now. So, sometimes a good way to work with little words is to try and explain something. A completely alien concept you've never talked about before.
Okay.
So imagine, for example, you were with a French person who didn't understand English, and they'd seen a word in a book. And the word they'd seen was
Chimney sweep.
now, if somebody asked you how to explain that, donc imagine que tu es avec un Français, il a vu le mot chimney sweep dans un livre quelque part, il t'a demandé de lui expliquer ce que c'est. Alors comment tu vas procéder à l'explication de ce mot-là? Comment tu vas lui expliquer ce que veut dire chimney sweep en français?
Chimney sweep. So we're talking about things to sweep the chimney, right?
Bon, la personne qui le fait. La personne.
Ah oui, chimney sweep. Ok.
Donc une personne au sens comme au 19e siècle, il y avait des jeunes en fait qui montaient dans les trucs pour nettoyer. Donc imaginons que la personne t'a posé cette question et que tu as besoin d'expliquer ce que ça veut dire. Alors, comment tu vas procéder à l'explication? Alors, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Donc, en fait, c'était le métier c'était un métier dans le 19e siècle. Le profession, tu veux dire ça?
La profession.
La profession, où, normalement, les hommes, un mec aurait balayé.
Ok, balayer.
Ouais, balayer, nettoyer le cheminée.
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 Think about the pronunciation. It's an E, so it's a dull sound. Cheminée.
Cheminée. C'était un métier qui où un peu sale. La personne qui aurait travaillé comme ça aurait deviendra sale parce que il y a beaucoup de mais c'est très sale dans le chimie, comme vous savez. Donc, oui, c'était un métier d'un homme dans le 19e siècle.
Donc c'était une personne qui nettoyait l'intérieur de la cheminée.
Exactement, l'intérieur de la cheminée. Cheminée.
La cheminée.
Cheminée.
La cheminée.
Cheminée. Ouais.
Okay. So, again, we're looking for words to explain something that we've never heard of.
Okay.
But again, this is a good way to broaden your vocabulary because when you try and explain this, then somebody will tell you the word for what it is, and then you'll have that word at your disposal later on. So how do we say a chimney sweep in French? C'est un ramoneur. Un ramoneur.
Un ramoneur.
Un ramoneur. It's a chimney sweep. Ramoner, en fait, is another word for brushing something. Ramoner is a particular verb to clean your chimney. So, with like a massive old brush on a stick they used to put up the. I don't know, but I'm a stickler. I'm a total geek for for trivial vocabulary.
Okay.
You just never know when you might want to use it.
Yeah,
so.
again.
Okay,
You're right.
so something that's in this room. Again, let's do another one.
Hinge.
So, can you explain to me again? Imagine I don't know what this word is. I've seen it somewhere. Can you explain what it is?
Donc, c'est une pièce normalement, c'est une pièce qui aidait de fixer le porte, une porte à le cadre de le.
So we've got alle. So how do you say alle? You fixe la
Au
porte.
cadre.
Au cadre.
Au cadre de la porte.
Ok.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Et ça ressemble à quoi exactement?
Normalement, c'est.
Ah, let's not slide. Let's pronounce it probably normalement.
Normalement, c'est en métal. Comment dit, you told me before, brass.
En métal ou en laiton?
En laiton.
Brass is laiton.
Laiton, d'accord, ouais, c'est ça. Donc, normalement, c'est en métal, laiton, normalement. Ouais, donc, ouais, c'est la pièce qui fixe la porte au cadre de la porte.
Ok. Et ça ressemble à quoi exactement? Il y a quoi comme élément dans cet objet? Qu'est-ce que ça consiste en quoi?
Ah, donc, ouais.
Ça comporte quelle pièce en fait? De l'ensemble, ça comporte quelle pièce?
Et ça comporte de screw. Viser.
Ah, so viser is a verb. It means to target something.
Viser.
Not far. Une vis.
Une vis.
Une vis.
Une vis qui comporte des vis. Et oui, et aussi la pièce, le ange. Ouais, c'est ça.
Ok, good.
Et on vise un petit trou dans leur hinge aussi pour.
Donc il y a how do you say to drill a hole? We say percer un trou. Percer. Yeah. So to pierce, yeah. Percer. Donc on dit donc donc voilà, c'est une petite pièce en plastique ou ça peut être en bois aussi. Après il y a la partie où on perce un trou dedans, on met une vis à l'intérieur qui prend le poids de la porte. Exactement. Attacher à.
Ouais,
So how would you say I attach a door to the wall?
Donc j'attache à porte.
Une porte.
Ah, putain, j'ai attaché à. Donc j'attache une porte
to the wall.
En mur.
Au mur. Now, because we got a construction with j'attache une porte au mur. So how would I say I attach a door to it?
J'y attache
une porte.
J'y attache une porte.
Exactly.
To the J'y attache une porte.
Okay, so how do we say a hinge in French?
I do not know.
Une charnière.
Une
charnière.
Charnière.
Une charnière.
So
And again,
feminine.
we know it's a feminine word because it's got a feminine ending.
Yeah.
Now let's. Okay, so today's sound. What is today's sound going to be? Well, today's sound is going to be.
Ah ouais. The neck. The elbow.
Non, j'ai toujours du mal à imaginer les sons comme ça parce que quand tu penses à un son, il y a des centaines de mots qui contiennent ce son-là, mais alors que finalement, j'arrive pas à sortir celui que je veux. Donc, le dessus, le dessous, le cul, non, l'époux, le pouce. Okay, so we're looking at the sound of dessus and dessous.
Dessus.
Dessus and dessous.
Dessous.
So this is it's quite a difficult sound to get right. Now, le dessus is a kind of le dessus. It's almost like you're kind of sucking in through your mouth as you say it. Le dessus.
Le dessus.
So it sounds a bit camp, doesn't it? But dessus. Le dessous.
Le dessous.
Au-dessus. Au-dessus.
Au-dessus.
En dessous.
En dessous.
Au-dessus. En dessous.
Au-dessus. Au-dessus.
En dessous.
En dessous.
Yeah. So here it's almost like a higher sound, and here it's got a bit more testosterone in it, and it's en dessous.
En dessous.
Au-dessus.
Au-dessous.
En dessous.
En dessous.
And here we have le coup,
Le coup.
which can be a coup like that means like when you hit something, un coup. Or it can be like a shot in a tennis match or something. Every time you're sort of hitting something can be un coup. And le coup, but without a P, is the neck.
Le coup.
So these are pronounced the same way, but because you.
Le coup. Le coup.
And this is.
As.
Yeah, so, which is le cul.
Le cul.
And there's a lot of French, English people who make the mistake in this old joke. English people, instead of saying merci beaucoup, they say merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah. Merci beaucoup. They should say merci beaucoup, but they say merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Then we have this word here,
L'épaule.
which is
L'épouse.
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 Une épouse. What does it mean, une épouse?
A spouse.
A spouse, exactly, yes. If it's une épouse feminine, it would be épouse like that, and if it was a masculine spouse, it would be époux.
Oh, okay.
Then we have le pouce.
Oh no, that's the thumb.
That's the thumb, yeah. Le pouce.
Le pouce.
Le pouce
And the other one's a flea, or?
can be a flea, and la puce is also can be like on your SIM card on your phone, the little chip that's in it. It can be like a chip as well. La puce. Okay, so read all of those words for me then.
Right. Le dessus.
Mm-hmm.
Le dessous.
Mm-hmm.
Le cou.
Mm-hmm.
Le cou. Le cou. Le cul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. You've got this. You've really got to change the shape of your mouth when you say it. So this is le dessus, and this is le dessous.
Le dessus.
Mm-hmm.
Le dessous.
So the difference really comes from your voice box.
Le dessous.
Sometimes it's a question of your tongue, it's kind of a question of your teeth or your lips, but here it's just a question of your voice box.
Okay.
If I say le dessus, it's a higher sound, and if I say le dessous,
Le dessus.
It's a-
Le dessus.
it's a more gravelly masculine sound.
Le dessous.
Mm-hmm.
Le cou.
Mhm.
Le cul.
Le cul,
Le
this is
cul.
le cul.
Le cul. L'épouse.
L'épouse.
L'épouse. L'épouse. L'époux.
Mm-hmm.
Le pouce. La puce.
Exactly, yeah, so you've got that sound quite well. I'll just bring you up a little thing to read here.
Devenir. Devenir ou devenir?
Devenir.
Devenir.
Devenir cuisinier.
Devenir.
De devenir cuisinier.
Ah ouais.
On va regarder ça. Donc, this is good because
Pour. Jour. Jour.
alors ça c'est d'un site web belge en fait qu'on va regarder. Donc encore un petit texte. Donc il va y avoir tous les sons qu'on a vus. Donc il va y avoir des OU, il va y avoir des U, il va y avoir des R, des UR, des UR. Donc on va lire systématiquement, sans aller trop vite. On va pas flouter notre prononciation parce qu'on n'ose pas essayer. Donc on va essayer de lire clairement et avec un bon rythme. Tu vois, ce qui est très important quand tu parles, c'est le rythme.
Ouais.
Si j'essaie d'aller trop vite, ça va partir en couille.
Ouais,
C'est une belle expression, ça va partir en couille. Ça veut dire it's fucked. Donc, si je lis trop vite, ça va partir en couille. Donc, très important, gardez le rythme, prononce chaque syllabe, prononce chaque son. Très important.
D'accord.
Ok, c'est parti.
Donc, pourquoi cuisiner est un job pourri? Le guide Michelin vient de distribuer plusieurs étoiles en Belgique pour 2012, principalement en Flandre. Le métier de cuisinier est-il pour de tout repos? La carrière moyenne dans leur cas dure à peine pas 6 ans. Régulièrement, des restaurants doivent fermer leurs portes parce qu'ils se retrouvent sans cuisinier. Selon Luc de Beau, président
Luc de Bao.
Luc de Beau,
C'est un nom hollandais, enfin un nom belge.
d'accord, Luc de Beau, président de Orca, Vlaanderen, cuisinier est aussi un poste extrêmement problématique à pourvoir, et ce pour 8 raisons. Personne ne dispose d'une formation complète de cuisinier. Bien sûr, chaque année, de nouveaux cuisiniers sortent de l'école hôtelière, mais ce ne sont que des aspirants cuisiniers. Ils ne connaissent que la base. Ils disposent des clés pour devenir cuisinier. Un bon cuisinier a de l'expérience. Pour devenir cuisinier dans un restaurant classique, une expérience sur le terrain est nécessaire. Le parcours dure au minimum 5 ans. Savoir cuisiner n'est pas suffisant. Un cuisinier est entouré d'une brigade de cuisine qu'il doit diriger.
Okay, that's fine. So let's come back to the beginning. So not bad there. You're starting to pronounce very clearly. Again, just here.
Plusieurs étoiles. Plusieurs étoiles.
So we've got le guide Michelin vient de distribuer plusieurs étoiles. So we see that this sound is the U. So plusieurs
étoiles.
So we've got the sound that we saw the other day. Plusieurs étoiles. Principalement. So let's make sure we always pronounce every single syllable. Again, here.
Principalement.
This word here.
Extrêmement.
So not extrêmement, but extrêmement. That's the only way to get it. I don't know how many times I repeat this, but always every single syllable. After that was okay. Problématique. So that's particularly a problem when we've got a really long word like this, because we need to pronounce every sound. Now, again, this sound here, this sound we've seen.
Le parcours.
This one is not minimum, but minimum. Minimum, almost the same as in English.
Au minimum 5 ans.
And un cuisinier est... Well, that's funny that we should see that just after we were talking about it. Entouré d'une brigade de cuisine. Okay, so let's come back to the text again, and let's read it, nice rhythm, make sure we link the words together correctly, and every single syllable. So off we go again.
Le guide Michelin vient de distribuer plusieurs étoiles en Belgique pour 2012, principalement en Flandre Le métier de cuisinier est-il pour de tout repos?
De tout repos.
De tout repos. D'accord. La carrière moyenne dans leur cas dure à peine 6 ans. Régulièrement, des restaurants doivent fermer leurs portes parce qu'ils se retrouvent sans cuisinier. Selon Luc de Bouw, président de Orcar Vlaanderen, cuisinier est aussi un poste d'extrêmement problématique et pauvre, et ce pour 8 raisons. Personne ne dispose d'une formation complète de cuisinier. Bien sûr, chaque année, de nouveaux cuisiniers sortent de l'école hôtelière, mais ce ne sont que des aspirants cuisiniers.
Okay, look at the sound here. Ce ne sont que
Des aspirants cuisiniers. Ils ne connaissent que la base. Ils disposent des clés pour devenir cuisinier. Un bon cuisinier a de l'expérience. Pour devenir cuisinier dans un restaurant classique, une expérience sur le terrain est nécessaire. Le parcours dure minimum 5 ans. Savoir cuisiner n'est pas suffisant. Savoir cuisiner n'est pas suffisant. Un cuisinier est entouré d'une brigade de cuisine qu'il doit diriger.
Very good. Fine, that's much better. But I think the sounds are starting to come together nicer. As I was saying, so if I talk to you about the imperfect, you'll understand what I mean by the imperfect from what you've read in your grammar books.
Yeah, I mean, I've covered it a few times. I mean, I don't know. As soon as you mention tenses, it kind of scares me because I mean, in English, I wouldn't know like, apparently it's like 12 different tenses or something like that.
Now, so for example, if I take this sentence, hier j'ai travaillé, and if I take
travailler.
Now,
Travailler. I always get the word mixed up. Okay, so that's talking about a specific moment. The first one's talking about a specific moment in the past.
exactly. So yesterday I worked,
Yesterday I worked.
and what if I was to translate this literally into English? What would it mean?
Yesterday I was working.
Yeah, I was working, but more in the sense of I was in the process.
I was in the process of working when something happened.
Mhm.
Right? You know.
So
Travailler.
just the fact, because when you pronounce it, j'ai travaillé, je travaillais, it just it sounds almost the same, except you've
J'ai
removed
travaillé.
je travaillais. Now, if you were pronouncing French like Cardinal Richelieu would have wanted you to,
Travailler.
it would have been travailler.
Slightly different.
Because there are some French people who pronounce the AIS as a E. I find it really difficult to pronounce because in Bordeaux people in Bordeaux people don't pronounce it like that, but in Paris, in the centre of France, that will become je travaillais.
It's a bit of a
Yeah.
higher.
It's like instead of saying, whereas I would say le lait, somebody would say le lait. It's almost like a higher sound. But in Bordeaux, people don't really speak like that, so we don't have to worry about it too much, which is good because it makes our life easier. Now,
just forget about that one.
so when you take away that, it means that that it's something that was continuous. I was doing something rather than I just did it once.
Okay.
Now, most of the time that's fairly self-explanatory. Now, there's a couple of
I mean, on this note, before you start, I mean, I often do think to myself, now that I've started to improve, whether I should say, il y avait, or things like that. You know what I mean? And that's where it starts to get a little bit difficult.
Exactly.
Il est-
So this is what we're going to look at, because the actual concept of j'ai travaillé, je travaillais is actually fairly simple. But the way it's used in French does tend to vary. And the way it's used in French varies mainly with expressions using avoir and être.
Okay.
So, for example, so if I wanted to say the verb avoir, and I wanted to make a construction with it with j'ai something, what would its form be? I have had.
So
Literally.
I have had.
Yeah. If I want to say I have had, what would that be? Avoir, the past participle, or the
J'ai eu.
j'ai eu. So that does exist.
Yeah, it's complicated.
And then when we have être, and I want to say I have been,
J'ai été.
j'ai été. So why do you think we very rarely hear this when people speak? Because you don't hear it very often, do you?
No, you're right. Yeah. You don't hear it often. I don't know.
So most of the time when we use avoir and être in the past tense, we actually use the second form. So we say j'avais
Okay.
and j'étais.
Why?
Now, why do you think that is?
J'ai eu, j'ai été.
So if I was to write this, for example,
J'y étais.
so if I was to say, for example, this,
You mean, is that right?
Mhm.
Okay, no.
Mhm.
No.
oh no, you're right. No, I really, I'm glad you noticed that because I spelt it wrong. And so we've got through 4 sentences here. We've got j'ai été cuisinier, j'étais cuisinier, elle a eu un enfant, elle avait des enfants. Now, if we were to translate these literally into English, what would this mean, this first one? J'ai été cuisinier.
I had been cooking.
J'ai été cuisinier. So cuisinier in the sense of the job.
Oh, sorry, cuisine. I had. So I have been a cooker.
A cooker? I have been
Sorry, a chef.
a chef or cook, yeah. So I have been a
Sorry, I was
cook
trying to translate cooking.
in the sense of, at some point in my past, I have been a cook.
Okay.
Mhm.
I have been a cook.
Now, if I was to say j'étais cuisinier,
I was a cook.
but when something else happened, for example, quand j'étais en France, j'étais cuisinier.
Okay.
Donc toi, par exemple, d'ici 10 ans, quand tu parleras à tes enfants, à tes grands-parents, tu pourras leur dire que quand j'étais en France,
Ouais.
je travaillais dans un pub.
Ouais, d'accord.
Non.
Ok.
Non, quand j'étais en France, je travaillais dans un pub.
Ouais.
Donc c'est-à-dire au sens sur le long terme, c'est I worked in a pub. Attends, I was
Sur
working
le-
in a pub.
Sur le.
Sur le long, au long terme, sur le long terme,
Ah oui, sur le long terme.
I was working in the pub.
Ouais, d'accord.
Now, so the difference really is something that I have done in the past at some particular time, but I'm not necessarily doing now. And this is more and at the time when I actually was somewhere, that's what I was doing.
Okay.
Now, this one is slightly more, this is slightly different. So, the difference between a eu and avoir, au sens il avait. Donc, elle a eu un enfant, what would that mean?
She had had
Elle
a
a
kid.
eu, she has had.
She has had.
Mhm.
She has had a kid.
She has had a kid.
She has had a kid. She has. Okay. Yeah. She has had a kid.
She has, as it says, she has given birth. We don't know when, but Oui.
Okay.
Now, if I were to say il avait des enfants,
Elle avait des enfants. She had kids.
she had kids in terms of, for example, I went on holiday, I met this woman, and she had kids. But it's not the sense of, so the actual act of having a kid is il a eu un enfant. Means that she's actually gone through the act of actually giving birth.
Okay.
Whereas here it's just the passive sense of the fact that il avait des enfants au sens, il possédait des enfants.
Okay.
Il avait accouché précédemment.
If he was describing someone, describing a family, for example.
Exactly. Donc j'ai rencontré une fille et elle avait des enfants.
Elle avait des enfants.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, so how would you say this?
Before I ate loads of chocolate, but now I don't eat any.
So is that going to be a j'ai mangé or is it going to be je mangeais?
Good question. Non, c'est j'ai mangé. I really don't know.
Now, the difference is that if you're doing something over a sustained period, like something that you did over a sustained period,
That's the other one.
then that's without avoir. So it's je mangeais.
D'accord, donc avant je
So-
mangeais.
Exactly. So because we don't know exactly when you did it, it's not like last night I ate 5 bars of chocolate. It's before, over a sustained period, I ate lots and lots of chocolate.
Okay.
But now I don't eat any.
Okay.
Avant, je mangeais
Manger
Beaucoup de chocolat, mais maintenant-
je ne mange rien.
je n'en mange pas.
Je ne mange pas.
Je mange pas de chocolat, donc je n'en mange pas.
Je n'en mange pas. Ouais. Je n'en mange
And there, but here, donc yesterday,
Okay, so I ate 3 burgers last night. Okay, donc ouais. J'ai mangé 3 burgers hier soir.
exactly. So whenever it's something that's more of a continuous thing through the past, it's going to be without avoir.
Okay.
And when it's just a one thing,
Yeah, of course, use the past present. Whereas a single moment in the past, I ate 3 burgers last night.
so let's come back again to some expressions with avoir and être. So for example, how do we say to need something?
Avoir besoin de.
So avoir, non c'est j'ai besoin de.
J'ai besoin de. Ouais.
I needed a. So, I needed a drink, so I went to the pub. So try and identify there which of those things, there's 2 actions there. One of the actions is something that's more of a continuous thing, and one of the actions is a thing that I just did once, one action.
Okay, so the first one's a continuous and the second one's just one time.
Exactly. So,
Donc, j'avais
mhm,
besoin.
mhm,
Le boisson et la boisson. Le boisson. J'avais besoin d'un boisson.
j'avais besoin ouais, j'avais besoin d'une boisson,
D'un boisson.
d'une boisson,
D'une boisson. C'est la boisson.
et une boisson.
D'accord. J'avais besoin d'une boisson.
Mhm.
Donc, je suis allé au pub.
Exactly.
D'accord, ça marche. It's funny because no matter how many times you could read something in a book, for me, unless someone actually explains it to me, and that's when it's sort of confirmed almost. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I need someone to confirm it.
Yeah.
Because I might be reading like and getting the wrong understanding of it from my reading or misinterpreting it somehow.
Mhm.
But when someone actually goes through it, it's just like locked,
That's good.
signed off. So that's very useful to do that as well. Because I'm one of these people that's never absolutely, I'm never going to be 100% sure about something. It's always like 95%.
Yeah, you need some kind of you need some kind of sort of consolidation.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
what you're doing.
Consolidation, yeah.
So, what about this one?
Last night I was tired, so I went to bed early. Donc last night, so that's the bus composé.
Mhm.
Donc hier soir,
Mhm. So I was tired. So is that can you just be tired as in do an action of be tired, or is it more of a kind of a
It's more continuous,
is it
yeah.
a continuous
Last
thing?
night's is a certain at a certain point, but that's more continuous. Donc hier soir, j'étais fatigué.
J'étais fatigué.
Donc, ouais. Hier soir, j'étais fatigué, donc je suis allé au lit.
How do you say go to bed? Well, you said it at the start of the lesson.
Ouais. Donc to go to bed. Donc
So to go to bed is se
coucher.
se coucher. So in the past it
Donc
becomes
je me suis couché.
je me suis couché.
Je me suis couché.
Early.
Tôt.
Tôt. Je me suis couché
Je me
tôt.
suis couché tôt.
Mhm.
I just get mixed up with that. I mean, there's lots. That's another thing as well. Se coucher, dormir, and you've got like endormir, and endormi.
Mhm.
People use different things at different
Mhm.
times. I was for example, sleeping.
Mhm.
And you've got sleeping the verb. It's sommeil.
Cool. Let's have a look at this now. So sommeil. Le sommeil is just sleep,
Sleep.
as in
Okay.
the noun sleep.
Okay.
Now again, if I take for example.
So the verb dormir is that to go to sleep?
Is actually to sleep in the sense of the act of sleeping.
Okay.
So, for example, if I wanted to say ma copine dormait,
So that would be my girlfriend was sleeping.
yes, exactly, because it's with this one here,
If you're doing the verb, okay, right.
she's actually in the act of sleeping.
Okay.
Now, there's a reflexive verb with a se before it, which means to fall asleep, which is s'endormir. So my girlfriend fell asleep would be ma copine.
Ma copine s'endormit.
S'est endormie.
Ah oui, c'est endormi.
Il s'est endormi.
Reflexive. So, what do you call it? Yeah.
Yes, an être. It's always an être construction. The reflective. So yeah, so you've got dormir in the sense of just the act of sleeping. You've got s'endormir, the fact of falling asleep.
Okay.
And you've got le sommeil, which is just sleep in general.
Okay.
So again, so the main concern with the difference between using the progressive past, or what's called the imperfect, and the standard past with avoir and être is just the question of what happened, and did it happen once or was it a continuous thing?
Continuous is the key word there.
Now, another example of when we would use avoir, but we would use avoir eu, would be when you get something, or when you receive something.
Wait.
So, for example,
Wait. Ouais, understood. For example, donc,
so for example there, if I wanted to say that,
I got your message. Donc, j'ai eu votre message.
yeah, j'ai eu ton message, or j'ai eu votre
Ton
message.
message.
So again, the actual action, that because it happened once, I only got the message once, it wasn't like,
You received a fine.
exactly, il a eu
une amende.
une amende.
Il a eu une amende. Okay, because I've seen that a few times.
Il a eu une amende. So the actual act of receiving something can also be translated with avoir eu.
Okay. Il a eu une amende. Or you can also say il a reçu. Il a reçu aussi.
Il a reçu.
It's the same
No, same thing, exactly the same.
Il a eu une amende. Okay.
And of course, the other one with j'ai eu, for example, I have, when it's anything that's I have had something. In English, I have had, it would always be j'ai eu. So, I have had 10 fines this year.
J'ai eu 10 amendes cette année.
Okay, good. So, whenever it's something that's English that's I have had would be j'ai eu. Otherwise, it's going to be with j'avais, j'avais, j'étais,
Okay.
on était, on
It's
avait.
clear.
Same thing. Okay, good. Right then. So, I went to Bordeaux last week.
Je suis allé à Bordeaux la semaine dernière.
I went there last week.
J'y suis allé la semaine dernière.
I went there with my girlfriend last week.
Je suis allé avec ma copine la semaine dernière.
I went there with her last week.
J'y suis allé avec elle la semaine dernière.
I drink water because I need it.
Je bois d'eau.
Je bois de l'eau.
Je bois de l'eau parce que
Because I need it.
j'en ai besoin.
Parce que j'en ai besoin. I drank water last night because I needed it.
J'ai bu de l'eau hier soir
Because I needed it.
parce que je l'ai besoin. J'en ai besoin.
Because it's a continuous thing in the past. So j'en
Avais besoin.
j'en avais besoin.
I needed it. J'en avais besoin.
How do you say I'm proud of my job?
Je suis fier. Je suis fier de mon travail.
How do you say I'm proud of it?
Je suis en fier. J'en suis
fier.
J'en suis fier. J'en
Okay.
suis fier. Parce que j'en suis fier.
Okay. What is very important is to work well.
Ce que
So it's doing the being important, isn't it? So
ce qui c'est important,
ce qui est important
ce qui est important is what?
is to work well.
Et faire ton travail bien.
Okay. How would you say
Faire bien ton travail.
I went to the shop last night, but they didn't have what I wanted.
Ok. Je suis allé à le magasin, au magasin,
Au magasin last
au
night,
magasin,
but they didn't have what I wanted.
hier soir, mais il n'avait pas,
What I wanted.
il n'avait pas ce que je voulais.
Il n'avait pas ce que je voulais. Je suis allé au magasin hier soir, mais il n'avait pas ce que je voulais.
Et il n'avait pas ce que je voulais. Il n'avait pas ce que je voulais.
Okay. What counts is enthusiasm.
Ouais. Ce qui compte, c'est ce qui compte est enthousiasme.
Okay.
Enthousiasme.
I have previously been a chimney sweep, but now I'm a barman.
J'ai été un ramoneur,
But now I'm a barman.
mais maintenant je suis serveur.
Serveur.
Je suis serveur.
Good. Okay then.
Okay, no, understood.
So, coming together nicely.
Yeah.
starting to get the words together, starting to get the little things, because your actual knowledge of words is very good. You've got a good vocabulary. And again, it's just the little places where you fall down, and just little words, how you put things together. But no, I think you're coming on very nicely. Anything you'd like to say for the end,
No, I mean,
of the lesson?
I'm really enjoying it. I think it's working very, very well. Being put on the spot and being forcing myself to actually, spit out these sentences is helping. You need to actually have the confidence to do it in conversation.
That's what you've got to do. And you've got to.
But do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you can see when I'm talking, I'm stuttering a lot, or not stuttering, but I'm trying to sort of configure, actually get these sentences together in my head, and well, you can see like the actual process of what I'm going through in my head, but just practice, isn't it?
It's just a question of practice. That's all it is. Just practice, and more practice, and eventually you'll find it will just start to flow naturally. That's the thing. Okay, well, thank you for coming.
What would you quick question? What would you say the best ways to actually focus on? Because I mean, obviously I've got the vocabulary there. I'm starting to build on the actual structure of the sentences and the tenses and the prepositions and. But I mean, is there a way of sort of accelerating the actual improvement of my speech?
Well, speech just comes with practice.
And what about watching TV?
TV will help you with comprehension, but it won't necessarily make you speak better.
Right.
If you want to increase your speech, you've just got to do more of it. That's the only way. The only way you're going to get better at speaking is by speaking. So you've got to get yourself into situations where you've got to speak to people. That's the only way, really. I mean.
And before you jump into a conversation, I mean, at my level, I always think to myself, should I work out what I'm going to say before I say it, or should I just start saying it?
Well, it's kind of a balance of both. Try and get an idea in your head of what you want to say.
Yeah.
Maybe even get your ideas together in English first of what you want to say, and then try and translate it.
Yeah. Because I mean, it seems like obviously when you're in context, when you're actually in a situation like that, the conversation is moving so fast at the time. But by the time you've thought about what you want to say, the conversation has changed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, miss that.
So you've got to kind of strike.
That's the problem. You know what I mean?
You've got to kind of strike a balance between maintaining your flow when you speak and speaking clearly, but also getting the right ideas in. So, but that will just come with practice. You will find that the conversations will leave you behind sometimes, and you'll feel a bit lost. But that's all part of the learning process.
Okay.
And the more you practice, the more time you put in, the less those kind of situations will arise.
Okay.
But I think by all means, keep trying to talk to people. But you've got to get yourself into situations where it's French only. You've got to get yourself where it's only French, and you've got to speak in French, otherwise it doesn't work.
That's the only problem. For example, the quiz yesterday was with Alex, who speaks English with me all the time, and with his friends who also speak English, and we've got another person called Adrian who always wants to sort of improve his English. So every single time I say something in French, he'll repeat what I say in English, and then speak to me in English.
So that's what you.
This is it.
You've got to get yourself into situations where you actually have to speak French. You've got to throw yourself in. At some point,
I'm going to go and work on a farm in the country or something like that.
Well, that's it. At some point, you've got to throw yourself in at the deep end and speak all the time.